Thank you all for coming out to our 5th episode of Coffee with Kriolas. This is our music and fashion industry show. We got some heavy hitters in the house tonight. First up, this young woman is a former Island and Motown recording artist with the hit 80s R&B group By All Means. She has worked alongside legendary recording artists like Stevie Wonder, Quincy Jones, and the late Barry White. She starred and acted in several movies and TV shows, including The Dorothy Dandridge Story, Tap, and Martin. She has and continues to sing for commercials for such companies as Burger King, Nissan, and Nike. She loves the stage and has performed in many plays, both here and in Europe. Her new album entitled Copacetic is the one and only Miss McKellen Roderick.
Thank you.
Our next guest is another fellow former Motown recording artist. She was a member of the hit all-female R&B 90s group Shades. Their hit single Tell Me, and Tell Me I'll Be Around made number 19 on the Billboard R&B Top 40 chart. She has worked alongside Boyz II Men, Montel Jordan, Keith Sweat, Drew Hill, SWV, Tyrese, Mary J. Blige, Destiny's Child, Lenny Kravitz, and the late great Whitney Houston. She's sung backup and toured with Enrique Iglesias in Europe. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Miss Danielle Andrews. Next up, this talented young lady is making everyone proud in the Cape Verdean community with her ever-growing success in the music business, with her smash Kazumba hits like Cortisao and Oca Fronta to her new R&B single, No Pressure. She's clearly the voice of our youth. She's worked alongside super producers like Mark G, Claudio Ramos, and Ismael De Brito, and such artists such as MD, Chachi Cavallo, D. Lopes, and Paul Lowe. 2012 CVMA nominee for Best Female Vocalist, the one and only Miss Lisa Lopes. This next young lady is a true go-getter. From the time that I met her 5 years ago, humble beginnings, to her ever-blossoming singing career now, with week-booked performances from all around New England. She covers hit songs like nobody else with her unique voice, from Rihanna to Zedd to K. Michelle. With her hit Kazumba singles, You Say and Kubo, produced by Cisco Kennedy, and her debut album coming out this September, she is truly one of our rising stars, the one and only Miss Sarah Barbosa. Last but not least, she's a wonderful mentor, mother, and life coach to many. She started her own fashion empire from scratch not too long ago, but cream rises to the top, and her passion and skills put her work in a class of its own. With fashion lines in Boston, Rhode Island, and Vancouver, she is one of the, if not the top fashion designer out from Cabo Verde. Miss Angelica Timas.
Nice to meet you, ladies. How did you get to start your business in the fashion or music industry? Who was your mentor or the person that you guys looked up to pursue your dream/career?
Well, I picked up on fashion very, very early out of high school. And I did one semester. And in the midst of it, I had to figure out a way of generating income post-graduation. So I switched to computer science. Fashion always, I kept it in the back burner. I always consistently sketched. I kept it, it was a passion for me. But my reality took me in a different route. Not until I turned 39 into 40, and, you start questioning, hey, I'm 40 now. And I've done educational-wise what I wanted to do, and I professionally as well. So it was time for me to do something that was more passionate rather than professional. So that's, when I started sewing. I taught myself how to sew, I taught myself how to do my own patterns, and I just consistently did it until at work, one of my coworkers saw me sketch, and she goes, "Oh my God, you need to do something with this. It's really good." So, it was around that time that I said, I need to follow my passion, and she just gave me the extra push, and it just took a life of its own, and so that's how I started.
Wow, awesome.
Yeah.
I started singing young, at a young age, and I think I was 16. And at the time, TD Bank North Performance Center used to be the Boston Garden. And I went to see Diana Ross. And I think I had tickets. Our seats were in the very top nosebleed section, but I was in the room. And when she came out, there was a scrim with a visual of her on the scrim. And then she walked through the stage, through the scrim, and onto the stage, and that was like, that's what I'm going to do. So I knew young, I just didn't know, like she said, how to navigate it and make it happen. So after college, I had an opportunity to go out to Los Angeles to record a demo of a song that was made famous by the Stylistics sideshow. And so I went to LA to do the demo. I planned to stay there for a couple of weeks, and I ended up just staying in Los Angeles and, just trying to find other singers, other writers, and just to get my name out there. And it, it did manifest. God was good and blessed me with those opportunities. So. And I took a little break to raise my children, put them through school. And my daughter, as you may know, is Elle Varner, so she grew up around music with my husband and I. And now my son is following in the same footsteps, so now I'm kind of going back to that path as well with my own solo thing.
So I got my start probably around the age of 15. I used to be in a lot of local groups in the Boston area, and so meeting people and just getting myself out there, getting my name out there. A gentleman approached me and asked if I would like to join a female girl group. And so, of course, excited, absolutely, yeah, because all I knew was for the girl groups was the Supremes and Vogue, and I was like, if I have the opportunity to do that, of course I'm going to do that. So, he put this girl group together. It was a local girl group, and we started practicing every day. He was my mentor. His name was Sonny Thompson. He got me into learning how to harmonize and learning how to be on pitch and on key and just training, And so that girl group didn't end up, panning out, but then that gave me an opportunity to get into another girl group, and that ended up being the girl group Shades that brought us to Motown. So what we did was we got a little demo together. We made a little video, because back in the day it was so different from how it is now. They recorded a video, we sent it to record companies, and they called us. It was so weird. I was like, okay. So we went in for an audition. The first record label that we got signed to was actually, it was Atlantic Records before Motown. We didn't end up putting anything out on Atlantic. That ended up that didn't work out. So we ended up getting the opportunity to get to Motown. So then we got to Motown, we met the president of the company, we sang for him, we sang for his A&R, and he was like, okay, let's do this. And it was that simple. And within a month's time, we're recording, we're, making an album on Motown, and we're meeting Stevie Wonder and like all these amazing people, Boys to Men. And it was like, is this real? Somebody pinch me, And from there, we went on tour, and we just kept going, and our single ended up being 19 on Billboard, and, it's just touring with all these amazing people and these amazing artists, and just learning so much, and just being so grateful that I had the opportunity, Wow. And that is beautiful.
Well, I grew up in a very Cape Verdean household where every morning you woke up, there was loud music. So I was actually really shy in the beginning. Like I knew I liked to sing probably by the age of 10. I would always lock myself in my room. I would sing. I was in chorus at school. We actually had to learn how to play instruments. It wasn't until my senior year in high school that they did like a idol type of competition, and all my friends were like, well, you have to sign up, even though I was so afraid of, like, you know, standing up in front of people to sing. But I went through with it. They actually messed up my music, so I had to sing it a cappella. And I actually ended up winning out of 14 people, and that's where I was like, okay, maybe I might have something here. So after I graduated high school in 2006, I moved to Jersey around 2008, and I met some musicians where I would sing. It was a band called Nos Conos, and we would do a mix of like morna, coladera, and we would kind of mix it up with a little bit of hip hop. It was there that I really started to like lose my stage fright, and I started to realize that people were actually starting to, you know, listen, and there were people who actually wanted to hear me sing and really continue singing. And then from there, I met other people who put me on with other producers around here, and I mean, it was just honestly like it was really like the few people who heard me sing behind closed doors that really pushed me to start singing. So I would say that they're the ones who really got me started. So
I started singing when I was 2 years old. My aunt who raised me told me that when I was a kid, I would tell stories about my day just in song. I remember growing up in my early teen years, I used to always love to write. And I was kind of a loner, so I would shut myself in the room, and I would always sing out loud, and I would always write music. All I wanted to do was to tell my story, because I felt like I had so much to say. Having been born and raised in Cape Verde, and having had very little to be, you know, to have resources to be able to pursue any dream, I never thought that singing was going to be for me. I just knew that my life was going to change significantly when I would come into the United States. And when I saw all that my mother gave and sacrificed for me, I said, you know what? I'm going to do exactly what she wants me to do. I'm going to go to school, I'm going to graduate, but then I'm going to do what I love. Like you said, your passion. I couldn't fight it. And so all through middle school, all through high school, going to church, I loved gospel music. So that's when I fell in love with music, was when I fell in love with Christ. And then through high school, middle school, I would do every talent show, every audition they had, I was on there. I would win a lot of them. I won Best Voice superlatives in high school. Everybody knew I was going to become a singer. I just didn't believe in it that much. Having come from a Cape Verdean culture where a lot of times your family and friends can turn away from it because they don't believe that, you know, you can make it, because it's so hard. Too many people want the same dream as you. So I've always been very driven and self-ambitious, and I fought it. And I said, there's no way. If I have to convince every single one of you that this is for me, that I'm going to do so. And it wasn't until I graduated college that I decided that, you know what, I'm going to now take my own route. And that's what I've done for the last 3 years. I have accomplished more than I could have ever accomplished in my life. And my mentors were basically a friend of mine that I ran into, a musician who's 55 years old. He's a top bass player in Rhode Island, and he's in a band called World Premiere. And he took me upon his arms, and he said, you know what, you have the talent, the skill, and ambition, and I'm going to discipline you. So he brought a keyboard, he brought a microphone to my house, and from that day on, I've been nonstop. Then I also met a wonderful woman. Her name's Jan, and she gave me vocal lessons, which I think every singer should look into, because it really strengthens your voice so you don't lose your talent and your skill. Because it's like a muscle. It needs growth. It needs to be able to be fed as well. So Jan was another mentor of mine. She taught me what it was like to love music and love others with the same talent, because I found that being in this kind of mainstream, women tend to be catty and competitive. And here was this wonderful, amazing woman, humble and just so very talented, and like many of you, had accomplished so much with her career. And so it just built all the strength and gave me all the motivation I needed to do what I do now. And now I'm at that point where I'm not going to stop. And my family and my friends are believing in me now, so I'm really excited about that too.
So my question to all of you is that what were and what are the negative sides of the business that you've encountered firsthand?
The negative sides, is that what you said, of the business? I would say that, first of all, and me and Lisa were already talking about this, first of all, being a woman in the music industry is very difficult. And I say that to say this. People always kind of look at you as fragile or not smart enough or not knowledgeable enough. And the devils of the game is we're always going to be viewed as like, well, you can do something for me if I do for you. So that's one thing. Like, it's very, very often that I run into people, or men in general, that may be, you know, in the line of where I need, you know, like for instance, I may need to work with them through music, through marketing, through promotions, whatever. And they always want to like build more than just a business relationship, because they feel like now they, you know, you owe them. So that part of like having to battle that, to have and maintain business relationships, that's one of the major things. Something else that I find to be very negative is, you know, you put your heart and soul into it, and you expect people to support and love what you do, right? Because you're showing them like, I really need your love, I really need your support, because after all, we don't do it for ourselves, we do it for everyone else. And I find that the lack of support from the people who claim to love us the most, that can be very hurtful and discouraging to us as artists, because it's like, how can you not support what I'm doing? You know what I mean? Like, how can you not be there for me when you said I could do it to begin with? So those are a couple of the negative things. I mean, the list goes on and on, so I'll let the other ladies take the mic and talk about it.
I've been trying to do this whole music thing for, it's going on 10 years now, and I've encountered so many negative situations that, like she said, I could go on and on, but for the most part, I feel like starting off as a Cape Verdean singer, I didn't get as much support from the small Cape Verdean community as you would see overseas. I feel like Cape Verdean artists overseas have like an upper hand on us, because I feel like the support out there that they get is it's immense. It's nothing compared to what we get here. Even when they come here into our territory, they get so much more respect and so much more love than what we get here. And I just feel like we're not respected as much here because we're considered not to be artists because we don't do it full time. But what they don't understand sometimes is that we have, like, for us to take time off of our regular lives to go and sometimes I go, like, I'm finishing up my degree now, and I work full time, and I go to the studio sometimes. I stay until 3 o'clock in the morning, and I have to be up for work at 6. So I think people don't take that into consideration, and they don't respect you as they should for the hard work and the lack of sleep that you put into it. It's not something that we do full time, but it's something that we put all of our energy into. So the lack of respect is one thing that's negative about trying to do music within the the small Cape Verdean community. But also, like she was saying, like working, I've had situations where you have whether it's an artist or a musician or producer that you want to work with, and you're like, okay, well, I'm ready to work, let's work. And then there always seems to be that, like, it goes from business to elsewhere, and you're just like, now I don't feel comfortable enough to continue working with you. So then what you started, you can't finish because, you know what I'm saying? Like, that line has been crossed. So I just feel like for women, it's definitely more difficult in this community. And that's why I felt like I wanted to cross over into the R&B, which I'm actually working on releasing my EP for just simply like R&B music, no Cape Verdean music. Because I wanted to try something different. I felt like I wasn't being taken seriously. Every time I hit up a producer, I'm like, well, are you ready now? Like, and they're not ready. They always give you the runaround. And I just felt like I needed to, before I really wanted to, entertain the idea of like quitting, I was just like, let me just try a different route. And so far it's been so good. I just feel like Cape Verdean American artists are not being taken as seriously as they should, and especially the women. They just have it the worst. So
well, for me, It was really hard for us when we signed to our record label, because I feel like that they didn't take us seriously with our contract. And we didn't have proper representation. So that killed us. And I think that, new artists should definitely do their homework and definitely make sure you know that you have a strong team behind you, because if you don't, that can kill you. So with that being said, we didn't have strong management. We didn't have our lawyer was not 100% behind us. We're a new artist, we're a new group, so they're thinking, oh yeah, they're a new group. We're gonna give them the worst contract we can possibly give them, and if they sign it, then that's their, you know what I mean? That's on them. So that hurts. So but if we had done our homework and we had knew what we were going into, then it would have been a different situation. So with that being said, I think that that was one of the biggest negatives in the music industry, because we're just so happy, we're just so eager, we just think everybody's honest, we just want to sign this contract and get to working, but there's definitely the other side to it that I wish I had known, but now I know.
Well, it's interesting to hear it from you younger ladies, and then to my age. So you say 10 years. So I've been in the business over 30, and I guess what I would say is, no matter where you walk on this earth, you've been blessed with a singing voice. You know what I'm saying? If you work at the bank, or you work for Wall Street, or you waitress, or you whatever, that everyone can't sing. So when you have that gift, that is separate from the business. And what I would say is that females, you have to deal with this business like a man, in terms of, get a book, how is the music business run? Get a contract. If you don't understand the language, go into Google, what does this mean? Because the creative side has nothing to do with the business side. So I have young people that I've met that can sing. I've met young boys that can rap, and I have people calling me all the time, hey, can you help me out? I want to be a rapper. I want to be a singer. I want to do this. So I ask them, what is it that you want to do? So then I find out what they really want to do is be able to go to Hollywood and drive a fancy car because they think they're famous. So it has nothing to do with the creative thing of your talent. So, you know what I'm saying? So as far as what you were saying, waiting on a producer, there's too much technology now. And thank the universe for Prince, because when Prince went to Warner Brothers, I don't know if anyone knows the backstory, why he became the symbol was because when you sign a contract, your voice is on that, what they call the master reel. But the label owns your voice. So that was always his argument and his fight. If you take my voice off this track, then there is no voice. There is no Prince. So he recorded as a symbol, as a statement to say, how can you say you own what I created? And he did take a very big risk to fight a major record label like Warner Brothers, but he did win. And he got his masters back, and that set the tone for us to be able to get on your iMac or your computer get a program, spend a little bit of money to get a program, and do your own tracks and do your own vocals, it's a lot more work. But record labels aren't like they used to be when Danielle and I were signed to Motown. When you were signed to Motown back then, you had an A&R department, you had a creative team, you had everybody doing everything for you, and you can get caught up in the whole glamour of everyone thinks I'm fabulous. But meanwhile, things are happening that you don't even know, and your business isn't straight because we don't, as a young artist going in, you don't think, well, can I look at my contract and take it for a few days and see if there's anything in here that's not right? You're just so excited to be acknowledged. You, probably 90% of us as artists have signed a terrible contract. Like right now in the industry, there's the contract is what they call a 360 deal, which means everything you do. So if I collaborate with you and we design a shirt, the label gets a piece of that shirt. If I design an app, if I create a recipe, if I open a store with all branding pieces, they just get a piece of everything. So that's the difficult part, I would say, is that the creative part of what you do creatively, like you said, you always had a story. When that meets with the business and the business is not right, that is where the problems happen and where they, where it starts. So,
As far as the music and the fashion industry is intertwined. The fashion builds music, music builds fashion, I think is a sister-sister relationship. And along with that relationship comes the same negativity and the same positivity. And after hearing you ladies speak, I'm just going to raise up one thing. Is it a cultural problem? The lack of support. I found more support out of my culture than I found within my culture. So my question is it cultural? Is it cultural? Is it a Cape Verdean culture issue that we don't support our artists, we don't support our entertainers, designers, or whatever area you are? Is it something that our Cape Verdean community just doesn't do? Because I found the same thing. I had no support from my community when I first came out. As much as I tried, and like you said, it was hurtful because you would think that the people who say, yeah, you got talent, would come out and support you, but they don't. So it's like, what's the deal with that? I mean, are you supportive or are you not supportive? So are you just saying that in context or not? So to me, that was, I had to go outside of the Cape Verdean community in order to build myself, in order to build a brand, to build a name, and then come into the community and put up my work. So that's the negativity of it. And I think it's more cultural than anything else because once you, like you said, you have to go into R&B in order to get your name out there, as opposed to just going into your local community and say, hey, I'm an artist. To me, I learned to disassociate the support in order to get my work out there. So I said, you support whenever you're ready and you come out whenever you're ready, or if you want to, I'm just gonna keep doing my thing. So that's how I think every individual should start off. And this is an advice for the young ones coming out, is don't depend on support from people. Depend on your own talent, depend on your own doing and your own ability to do the work. And if you're good enough, people are gonna take notice. Regardless, they're gonna take notice in all walks of life. They're gonna notice you. So just work diligently at what you do. Bring out your talent and, forget support. I mean, the universe will conspire to bring the people for you to do your thing, to you to work on your talent. It'll happen. So don't focus too much on the support from our community or anyone else. Just, you are your own backbone.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you one more time. Thank all of you guys to be here with us. Such a beautiful, amazing, talented ladies here with us tonight. So I appreciate you guys being here. My question to you guys is, what are some of the positive aspects of the business that you ever encountered?
Positive. Wow. Like I said, when you start doing your work and you in the fashion business, I believe that when is your time. And I look back when I graduated high school and wanted to do fashion designing for school, it wasn't the right time for me. And I guess that's why, life just happened in a different route than what I wanted. And I believe now that when is the right time for it to happen, it will happen. All people on walk, will approach you to make that happen. That's how it happened for me. When it was time for me to work on my craft, I met amazing people. I started off at Style Week in Providence. It's my third season doing Style Week. And then after that, I just, network with people. And people will come and help you. But at the same time, you have to be willing to put out the work. And once you start doing that, you get the feedback, the positive feedback, and it'll make you keep pushing for you to do more. And I think that's the positive, is just having the right people at the right time with a positive energy, with a positive attitude, and that, it'll make it happen. I've met Anna Maven from A Maven's World. She sponsored me to go to Vancouver Fashion Week. And from there, it was the brand blew. And like I said, it'll happen once you have the right people by your side. Once the people that bring you the positive feeling, the positive vibe, the positive attitude, it'll happen for you. So I think networking was the biggest factor for me right now as far as the fashion goes.
I just want to go back to the last question briefly. There are places to sing in the town that I live in right now, and the most that they want me to sing all the time with my band, and they want to pay us $50, right? Then I will go to LA and I'll audition for a commercial, and I'll get the commercial, and they want me to sing, and they'll pay me $25,000. And the point I'm making with that is in relation to you all talking about the support of our culture. Sometimes our culture isn't going to support us. They're just not. To them, you could be plastered all over the billboards in New York City, LA, you know what I'm saying? And they're just not going to do it. And then we have to look at the Latina market. That is just probably 10 years old, that Latin music and Latin film and Latin actresses are being accepted into the mainstream. But Latinas have been around for hundreds of years. So until we, as Cape Verdean women, the more successful, I know that whenever I'm interviewing or I do my bios or whatever, I say that I'm Cape Verdean, which opens up the question, what is that? So we have to just say what we are, and then and help that tree grow. So for example, if with Amber Rose's new show on VH1, if she brings up the fact that she's Cape Verdean and opens up that dialogue, then it opens up well, I keep hearing about this Cape Verdean thing. Who are they? What are they? And that's how we build our brand, if you will, to become hopefully mainstream. You know what I mean? Like any other culture. And as far as positive things, many positive things, and that the places that I've been able to travel. I remember being in high school, and I'm probably dating myself, but we had albums, record albums, and on the back of an album, there was a little section in the back where you could write to the fan club or the management. Okay. So I wrote a letter to Sergio Mendes, who I adore and was able to meet eventually, asking him if I could be in his group. Now, I didn't know how I was getting to Brazil or how it was going to happen, but I really believed that if I wrote the letter, they would get it. I didn't know that the fan club was really a room in a building, probably in New York City, but you don't know that when you're young. And so I can say that God giving me a voice to sing and to be able to write is what allowed me to travel and go to places that I probably may never have gotten to because I had a regular job and I had bills, so I had a budget for a vacation. I was able to travel and do that because of singing. So that's how I know that's what I'm supposed to do, not something else. Because don't get me wrong, I've had many other jobs that you wouldn't even believe that were not music related, just to be able to pay the bills. But very many positive experiences, and I would say they outweigh the negative in the industry.
For me, the most positive thing about the music industry is just to be able to be on tour and to sing your song and look into the audience and have them all sing along with you. Yeah. I mean, that's priceless. You can't pay for that. There's nothing better than that feeling in the world. Or to see a little girl who's 14 years old crying because she just wants to touch your hand. She just wants to meet you, And to be able to have a meet and greet with somebody that says, I love you, you changed my life, That is priceless to me, and that is the most positive thing that I got out of the music industry.
I was crying today whenever I met you for the first time. I was like, what?
Stop lying.
How is it like to be on the stage with Enrique Iglesias?
I mean, I was with him when he had the mall. And he was a beautiful person. He had a beautiful soul. He was very nice. I can't say anything more. I can't say anything negative about him because he took care of us, He cared about his band, And, it was just all positive. I was only with him for 6 months, but it was, we went everywhere. Yeah. I was in Turkey. I went to the biggest mall in the world, in Turkey. I'm like, how am I in Turkey right now? Singing back up for Whitney Houston. What is going on? Yeah, so amazing.
So for me, there are a lot of positive things. I would say just the support you get from certain people that you wouldn't think you would get. I have kids who are like 12 who send me pictures and they're like, oh my God, Lisa, I love you. Or they'll send me videos that they're playing my music. Or I even have my friend's son who's 3 years old, and he's always like, Muma, you have to play Lisa. So it's just like, it's like the people who you touch and you see that they really appreciate your talent and they reach out to you and they let you know. And I think that's just like a great feeling. And just like she said, just being on stage and watching people like sing along with you. And there's no better feeling than that, really. And I really do appreciate everybody who shows me love. So I try to show it back too. So it's a good feeling.
For one, I just want to say that presently, right now, this is a very positive thing. And I really, truly appreciate what you ladies are sharing, especially the two of you and you that have been doing it a lot longer. Of course, we're both young, so we're kind of doing the same thing. But the three of you have years and years of experience. And to hear the things that you're talking about and still see the love that you have for music, just as you're sitting there, you know, it really is inspiring me to think that you guys made it and did so much and continue to do so much, you know, and you're still here and you're humbled and you're at 10 Rocks and you're sitting next to me. Like, I'm a nobody, you know, I'm just an artist that, you know, that loves to sing and just want to tell my story. And I'm sitting next to you two women and you ladies that are just phenomenal women. You really are, you know, and so I want you to know that what you're doing right now is positive, inspiring to me. And one last thing that I would say that I find to be very positive about this business is that people will acknowledge your work ethic. They will acknowledge and how much love you have for it, and how hard you work, and how positive you stay, how humble you are, and how good you treat them. Because I have been doing this music thing full-time for almost 3 years. And I have been so blessed to get called back into venues, to meet musicians that believe in me, that will play with me regardless of how much we get paid. They do it because they believe in me. To be able to be in studios working with artists who love music the way that I do and create music together, that to me is priceless. Because it doesn't matter how much money you make or how far you go and who you become, working with other people who have the same love and passion, whether it be another keyboard player, another singer, another writer, that to me is magic. It's beautiful, like jam sessions and all that. I mean, I fall in love with music every time I hear music, especially live. And that I think is just such a great positivity to the industry.
All right, so ladies, what advice would you give to those young up-and-coming females and males, both Cape Verdean and not, just about the industry, whether it's fashion or music?
Well, I would give this advice for somebody who had to do it all, not all, let me say, most of it on her own. I had to believe in me first before anything else. I would say that, for one, right now with technology being where it's at, there's help everywhere. Okay, you can go on YouTube, you can get vocal lessons from YouTube. You can pick up an instrument and learn how to play keyboard, you can learn how to play drums, any type of instrument through YouTube. There are beginner courses on there for free. I would say go out and sing with everyone and anyone. There are jam sessions everywhere. And one thing Rhode Island does have to offer are bands. There are a lot of venues that have nights everywhere. Get on stage, grab the mic, sing, 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 sing. And like I said, get vocal lessons, which you can do for free. Just try to work with people who have been doing it. Be willing to learn from them. Be willing to be receptive to their advice. Never think that you know everything, because you don't. No matter how long you've been doing it, you can always learn. So I would say, for one, just be receptive to learning. Put yourself out there. Don't be afraid. Work on your craft every single day, because you could never be good enough. Trust me. And that's really what I would say as part of advice.
So advice that I would give is, don't let one person's opinion, or don't let one bad experience just, stop you from moving on. If it's something that you're truly passionate about, definitely continue doing it. That you're definitely you're gonna come across situations and people who are just very negative, and they don't have the best intentions for you, and they don't share the same vision as you. But there's been plenty of times where I've come across, situations where I'm just like, I don't think I'm going to do this. I'm just going to, continue doing, full-time job and going to school. But then you're like, wait, but I wake up in the morning and I'm singing and I'm, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm looking in the mirror. I'm pretending I'm like this superstar. Like, you can't let negative situations stop you, and you just got to keep moving forward. If this person, did you wrong, find someone else who's gonna who you're gonna build a new relationship with, who you're gonna be able to work with. There's a lot of talent out here, and I don't think a lot of people know that. And like, you know, technology, you can find it anywhere. You can just simply post something and be like, hey, I'm looking for a producer who does this, and you'll see so many people willing to work with you. So I feel like if you come across a negative situation and you come across somebody who you know discouraged you, like just keep pushing, because if it's something that you truly want to do, you're gonna be able to do it, because there's plenty others that have that same passion for it as you.
I agree totally with the ladies, and what I would say is, as much as you want to be in this industry, make sure you get your business right. Learn the business, because that is just as important as the music side of it. So you want to, you know, hone your craft, but you also want to read. You want to know, get the books about, like McKellen was saying, get those books about how to be in the music industry, learning about the music industry, your management, your lawyer. I mean, you need your team behind you, because without the team, you're nothing, you know? So it goes hand in hand. So that would be my advice.
Exactly what Danielle's saying. If you worked for the MBTA, you would want to know about your benefit package, your retirement package, your days off, your sick days, your personal days, you know. So it's the same thing. It's just that the product is music. So I would say the business, and more than the business, what I always ask the young people is, well, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? Because they'll say, I want to sing. Okay. Do you want to sing on the weekends? Do you want to sing in a general business band? Do you want to get in a van with your guitar and hit all the Tapa bars across the country? Do you want to be a superstar? Find out what it is you really want to do, and then go ahead and do that. Because to just say I want to sing, but you really want to be Mariah Carey, well, there's a work ethic that has to happen to get to Mariah Carey. Because otherwise, you're just saying you want to sing, and there's 10,000 people out here trying to get into the business. And when you start telling them about the business and about the publishing and about having all your business straight, and why you don't go in a room in a studio session with 6 people and everybody contributed a couple of lyrics to the song, and now the song is published and you didn't find your name on the song because you didn't get your business right. You know what I mean? So I would say find out exactly what you want to do in the business and then build it from there.
I would, to the young designer coming out of schooling, even self-taught designers, I would just give a reminder that within the fashion industry, 20% is your craft, 80% is business. And what I mean business is your marketing, your branding, your publishing, your shows, everything that goes along with getting your brand name out there. 80% is all business related. Only 20% is really you working on your craft. And I will emphasize work ethic. You have to have a strong work ethic, professionalism, in order to bring your name or your brand name out there. For me, the hardest part is because professionally I'm a software developer, so that's my full-time job. Fashion, up until last year was a hobby, but now is just requiring more time of me. And then I have a daughter who's a model and an actress and singer that requires me to go to New York at least once or twice a week, on top of everything that I do. So if you don't have that kind of work ethic to say, I'm going to do this and be on top of things, you're not going to make it in the fashion industry. You gotta, like you said, you competed against household names. And people are loyal to brand names. So if you're up-and-coming designer, your customers are more inclined to have their loyalty towards an established brand. So it's very hard to break a brand. And what I mean breaking a brand is making your brand aware, like work on your brand awareness, to bring awareness to your label. That's the hardest part, because 90% of times people will look at your clothing or whatever you're selling and then go and buy another brand name because they're loyal to their brand, because there is a brand awareness. So work on that. Don't try to, don't come out with that mindset, oh, I'm going to be a household name. That's not going to happen right away. That's just not going to happen. I mean, if it does, kudos to you, you made it. But it just doesn't happen that way. There's a lot of work involved. So be resilient, work hard, and if that's your passion, just go for it. Meet the right people, make it happen. And you just have to have that willingness to work hard and put your work out there and work and master. And there's always something to learn. I'm self-taught. I taught myself how to do all that. But I know that I can still learn more. And there's people in the industry that are willing to teach you. So just don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to go and get yourself taught more than what you think you know. Basically just the reality is much uglier than what it is. So you have to be aware that it's an ugly industry. So you have to, like you said, do your research, do your homework. Look who is trying to work with you, if they are self-gaining for their own, or do they have your best interest? So you have to become a little aware of your surroundings as far as people taking advantage of you, because they will do that. And just work with the right people to make it happen.
Thank you so much. That's such amazing advice that you guys give, especially for the young people out there. Thank you so much.
Anybody in the audience have any questions for our guests today that they want to ask?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, guys. I just want to, it's not really a question, it's more of just like a statement. I just want to say I've been best friends with Rachel Fonts over here, Maria or Lucha's daughter, for a few years now, ever since my freshman year. And I've really embraced like the Cape Verdean culture, Cape Verdean music and all that stuff. And I just have to say, like, Cape Verdean women, most beautiful women in the world. Just wanted to let you guys know. All right.
Thank you.
And something that she didn't say, she has such an amazing voice. She didn't say that, but I gotta say that. Her and my daughter, actually, they used to go to school together. They both have an amazing voice. And that was such a great advice that you guys give, especially for them too, that's into music, for them to keep going, don't give up, and yes, be positive.
I just want to say, based on the experience that you ladies shared today with us, and the advice, it's truly amazing to have you guys here on stage with us. Thank you very much. Beautiful ladies, amazing advice. And, for our viewers to watch you guys, the experience you guys have, gone through and everything else, I think that's a big, push their way. Basically, you guys are a shining star and a great example for them. And, it doesn't matter what age you are. If it's going to come and you want to, and it's a dream that you have, based on what you guys have said, go for it. It's, the sky is not the limit. You can go above and beyond that. And it's amazing to have you guys here on the stage.
See, I'm not giving up. I've been singing in the shower for the past few years. But I'm still not going to give up.
And on that note, that's going to wrap up our show. Thank you all for coming out. Let's thank our guests. Big round of applause. Ms. Lisa Lopes, Danielle Andrews, Michelin Roderick, Angelica Timas, and of course our lovely hosts and the ones who couldn't be with us today. Thank you all for coming out. We'll see you at the next Coffee with Kriolas.